Hey, Catherine, how you doing? I've got your work up right here, and I wanted to take a look at your writing. Okay, challenging. I think some of my painting turned out pretty well, like the mountains in the top corner and the vegetation in the bottom corner, but it was really tough to preserve the texture of things that were blending enough to look natural. I agree. We're not getting the painterly effect that we need here. I have a really good tip that I think is going to work things out for you. A lot of areas of my painting seem so smooth and consistent. I agree. I totally agree. They look almost cartoon-like. I agree. My comment was going to be that this looks more like you've applied a series of Photoshop filters than using a mixing brush to apply painting techniques. So I totally agree with what you're saying. I think I've been using too wet a brush. The mixer brush is a great tool, and if you successfully other projects in small areas, but I'm having trouble mastering. Okay, I think that make sure that you have sample all layers checked. It's critical. You're just not going to get the effects that you need if you don't have sample all layers checked. So that's the first thing I'd recommend. I don't see this as having a wet brush. I think that you're going to get some really neat techniques, but you know what you're after? Okay, so this right here just doesn't look like a painting at all. Actually, really the only area that resembles a painterly effect is this area here, to a certain degree this area, and to a lesser degree over here. The foreground focal point just doesn't have the painterly effects that we're looking for. My recommendation is to start over. Now listen, I'm going to tell you something. You've got portrait painting is extremely time consuming using the mixing brush, extremely time consuming. In conjunction to that, you've got two portraits to work on. I'm perfectly fine if you want to choose a different image and work this technique. Um, uh, that's totally up to you. But I do want to say faces are pretty difficult. Things like, okay, let me show you what I think is just a phenomenal example. And it's Michaela's example. If you take a look at it, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And these are the effects we're after. So my recommendation is to take, if you want to start with this image, just start with a small area and just work with the settings. Make sure that sample all layers is checked. Work with the cleaning your brush more often, cleaning your brush less often. Your brush is more wet, your brush is less wet. Sample more colors, sample less colors. A really good tip, though, is changing hardness and size of the brush on the fly. And that's covered in the announcement. Let me just show, oh gosh, let me just show you. Oh, I should have had that open. Sorry, this is going to take a second. I'm sorry. I should have had this open before I even started, but um, just want to jump over to the announcements area, and I want to show you how slow my computer really is. Wow. Okay, so over to the announcements area, and then we go to welcome to week 4, right? Jump that open, and right down here, here's these resources for mixing brush, but this last one right here is to change the brush size and hardness on the fly. It's a great time saver, really a great technique right there, so try that. At any rate, yeah, let's go ahead and either continue working on this. What we're really after is brush strokes and a painterly effect. Okay, and in a perfect world, one wouldn't be able to tell this was originated from a photograph. So that's what we're after. Okay, brush strokes are going to make a big difference. Okay, so again, I would recommend that we keep working. And again, if you want to change your photograph to something different, I'm perfectly fine with that. But at this point, I would say if you have any questions or concerns, let me know. I'll be glad to make any necessary clarifications. All right, great start. Thank you very much.